Oh, it's white. You never told him it was white.
Think it'll scare the kids?
The kids. This will give the parents nightmares.
Is that good?
It's fantastic.
Hi, everybody. I'm Peter Travers, and this is Popcorn, where we tell you what's happening at the movies. And what bigger movie is there than Jurassic World? What? Everybody just says, I want to see it. What are the dinosaurs like? Now, my guest today, Bryce Dallas Howard, who I've known doing Shakespeare, Tennessee Williams, you know, as well as Spider-Man and Twilight, Terminator, all of that.
Yeah.
You're in this, and you're in control, so I welcome you. Your only job is to tell us now everything that happened.
Oh, no problem. No
Would
problem.
you just
yes.
do that for
Yeah,
us?
there were
Yeah.
no non-disclosure agreements that I signed.
What did they make you sign, and what did they threaten to punish you with?
Well, you know, death, but that's fair, right?
It is fair.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. I mean, this movie, it's co-written and directed by this guy Colin Trevorrow, and he's an indie filmmaker. I mean, he only made one movie before this, Safety Not Guaranteed. Exactly.
But it's a good one.
It's a really
It cost
good
about
one.
$1.99.
I know, it actually cost $700,000. And when you think of the leap from that budget to this budget, it's remarkable. But he approached this movie in the way that he would approach any film. And it felt intimate, it felt like a passion project. It just felt like, you know, everybody wants to protect the story. And so there was no threatening.
You're running this park, this
Yes.
Jurassic World, right? So you are the boss lady.
I'm
you
totally
slap
the boss
people
lady.
around who don't do as you say.
Yes. And so it's kind of the concept of it is it's been 22 years since the original film, and here in Jurassic World, the park is open. And when Colin originally talked to me about the story, what I loved about it is that it felt so realistic because, yes, it's a dinosaur theme park, and there's 20,000 visitors every single day, and it's kind of like nothing you would ever imagine, and yet it's been open for a while. And one of my first lines is, nobody's impressed by a dinosaur anymore. You know, it's just like an elephant in the zoo.
We don't care.
Yeah, and so that is kind of what it would be like. I think everybody would be so excited by it and the novelty of it, and then that would dissipate and they would want something more. You know, it's like, think about how we are with our phones, for instance. It's
That's
like,
right. It's just
a new phone.
It's a new phone would get more attention than the dinosaur.
Yes.
I hate to think that we've come that far.
It's terrifying.
No, because you've got thousands of visitors coming to Jurassic World
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
And we know something not good is bound to happen.
Of course.
Or they wouldn't
never
just
learn.
show you going about your business every day. But
Yeah.
let me push a little further into the fact. So you're in this kind of booth. I'm looking at this poster.
Yes.
Where you're with that toothy. Is that one
That's
the
the
new guy?
the Indominus Rex. So this
Oh,
guy
are
was.
you allowed to say Indominus Rex?
I'm allowed to say Indominus Rex. Yes. Whew. I know. Well, otherwise, you know, something would kind of just like. Maybe there's an implant in my head, and if I say anything wrong, I'll just kind of like short out. And
That would be great.
and fade.
Little smoke come out of your ears.
Exactly. But yeah, this guy here was developed, a genetically modified dinosaur, in order to reinvigorate the interest of the public.
Of these cell phone crazy people that
Yes.
need a new dinosaur.
Exactly.
So velociraptors, T-Rexes don't mean anything to them anymore.
Well, it's kind of like, I've seen that. You know, it's like seeing
No, I get
a
you.
lion or something. You know, when you see a lion enough times and you feel kind of protected. You feel like the park has them under control. It's not as scary, and you kind of disconnect from the fact that it's a real wild creature that will eat you.
Were you this young girl when that opened
Yeah.
in 1993, child saying,
12 years
I'm
old.
going to see this, I've got to see it?
Yes.
Did you care?
Oh,
Some girls don't care. They
very
say,
much so.
I don't see dinosaurs.
Yeah. No, I was into it, and all my friends were seeing it, and I wasn't allowed to see it because I was 12 and the movie was PG-13.
Oh,
And my-
1 year?
I know. Well, my
How
parents.
strict are your parents?
My parents are pretty strict, but they saw it opening night, and I truly remember this. They came home and my dad said, "You need to see this movie opening weekend in the theaters. This is cinema history," and so I got
Coming
to.
from him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there was no question. I mean, that was such a huge leap in terms of just simply the technology, not to mention that it was masterful
Oh no,
storyteller.
you know, you're
Yeah.
right. We keep looking for that again, and we can't find it except in cell phones. So we're basically looking for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Jaw
that-
drops.
Yeah, that visceral experience where you're in the theater, but it's like where you can't believe, you can't fathom or comprehend what you're seeing. I mean, before that, we had seen dinosaur bones in museums. We had seen drawings of dinosaurs in textbooks and books, but to actually see dinosaurs.
Yeah, and bad sort of 1950s versions of them.
Right,
where
right.
It looks like your uncle's elbow.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just not the same thing.
No.
But you, Bryce, you are a person who grew up. This is your family. Not only your dad, Ron, but the
My grandparents.
grandparents,
Yeah.
uncles, cousins, they're all into this. I would think you would be always into this business and always being able to see things way ahead of the time it was okay.
Well, it's, you know what? We were kind of sheltered in a way. We were always on movie sets, myself and my siblings. Like, we were just constantly on a set, which was awesome. Like the best childhood ever. But they sheltered us from the industry. And I was raised here on the East Coast. I was raised in Connecticut. And so it's kind of like we got the best insight into storytelling and movie making with like none of the bad stuff. So yeah, I got to be around it, and I think one of the reasons why we were allowed to be on movie sets is because my dad was a child actor, and he just figured, you know, you got a kid, you just put him on a movie set.
That's
and
right.
Gave us some jobs to do, and there we were.
Well, that's what were you 7 or 8 or something when you're in Parenthood?
Yes, that was my first movie that I got to be an extra in.
Did you feel protected growing up?
I did. I really did.
Because it's odd, because I always tease your dad about this, because how he names all of you after the place you were conceived, hence the Dallas.
Why
I
did they
thought
do
maybe it
that?
was a stripper name that
I
you
know.
wanted to be.
I know.
Bryce Dallas.
Bryce Dallas, and I thought the same thing when I first started working.
Yeah.
I just had my name be Bryce Dallas because I was a little insecure, just sort of thinking like, oh, I hope people don't think, you know, that I'm only doing this because of whatever. And then also on the flip side, I'm still learning. Maybe I'm going to really suck, and I don't want to embarrass my family. And so I was Bryce Dallas for a while, and then I realized the first thought was, well, that just does sound like a porn name. So I don't want to sound like I'm in a porn with the name Bryce Dallas.
You don't want that to be the first thing you're known
No.
for. No.
And then also that, you know, I'm really proud to come from my family, and you know, I'm Howard. I mean,
Well, yeah,
it's awesome.
but
I
you
love
kept
that.
you kept the Dallas. Now the twins were at the Carlisle when they.
Yes.
That's really classic. Oh my gosh. Dallas. Did they not choose the hotel or something?
Well,
What was
it happened at the Carlisle Hotel. My
no, but
brother's
I
is
mean
the
for
worst.
Dallas, why wasn't that in a hotel? in Dallas?
Oh. Well, I think they had a little bit of like the rule was it was wherever we were conceived. This is so disgusting, but it was wherever we were conceived, and then they could have some flexibility within that. So for me, it was a city. For my sisters, it was a hotel. For my brother, his middle name is Cross, and it was after a place where we used to live called Lower Cross Road. But when I was
Road? Excuse me?
I know. When I was growing up, because I mean that was our road where our house was, and so my dad would make this joke where he'd be like, "I didn't want to call him back of the Volvo," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, no, this didn't happen."
How old were you kids when you knew that was the way you got named?
This is a real story.
Yeah, I like those.
didn't know, and my dad went on David Letterman. And he told the story, and this was in first grade. And the next day, a bunch of kids came into school, and they were saying to me, "Your middle name is where your mommy and daddy had sex." Trauma.
What a great day at school. Much better than show and tell.
Oh man.
Right?
And I'm like, "What's sex?"
What's that? Yeah, I don't know. I remember the first time in movies for me seeing you was The Village. So
And you were
it's
so kind.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Actually, thank you
Yeah,
for that.
yeah.
I remember that. You were so kind
That's-
when you reviewed that film. But yeah, The Village was this crazy experience because I did a play. I did As You Like It at the Public here in New York, and M. Night Shyamalan came and saw the play, and he waited afterwards and introduced himself to me. Of course, I knew who he was. I was obsessed with Unbreakable and Sixth Sense, and I thought it was so amazing that he even waited for me to come out of the theater afterwards. And a few weeks later, I got a call that he wanted to go to lunch with me, and I genuinely had no idea what it was about. I thought he might want to ask questions about raising the kids in the business and how my parents did that. I was like, oh, maybe he just wants to, I don't know, pick my brain. And when we were sitting down for this lunch, he reached down and pulled out a manila envelope and slid it across the table and said, I've written a movie and I would like for you to play the lead. So it was this kind of crazy thing because I felt like in a way that I had been discovered. It was kind of that classic Hollywood story.
A director who's just come off of 2 gigantic hits is saying, I want you to be in my movie. Yeah.
So crazy. And my my dad, honestly, when I told him about that, he was a little like, what is he doing? What do you mean he's casting you as the lead? And then I said, he didn't even ask me to audition. And my dad was just like, oh man, I don't think I've ever done anything like that. I mean, it took a lot of guts.
Get him on the phone.
Do not cast my daughter.
I'm going to tell
you don't
him
know
what
if
it was
she's
like
capable.
to grow up with her.
Yeah.
Well, Bryce, we end. You haven't been on this before, so it's a big new pleasure.
It's awesome.
But everyone that comes on the show, including your dad, sings a little bit of something.
Great.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Just this morning, I just got people saying, no, I can't, I'm not prepared.
Oh, sure. What should I sing?
I don't know.
I have to sing. Okay. All right, here we go. Da 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 da. We sang whenever we would watch playback after something.
You would do themes.
Everybody would sing together. It would just be this chorus because we felt like we couldn't quite view it properly unless we had
music was
John
there.
Williams' score.
Well, thank you for doing John Williams and petrifying us all.
Thank you.
That's what I wanted from this interview, Bryce. It was great.
Thank
great
you
to meet
so
you.
much. Such
what
a
fun
pleasure.
you are.